cold and I'm very tired.
Mic check one, mic check one, mic check one. Mic check one, mic check one. Mic check one, mic check one. There we go. I can hear myself. Can you hear yours?
No.
Well, I mean, can I hear you?
I don't know. Can you?
There we go. Now I can hear you. It's a really bad feedback. It's frustrating.
Huh? Is it the heater?
start?
Sure. No, but I'm fine. A lot.
All right. Welcome to Ball and Chain Podcast. This is episode 237. We're here to talk about some video games, board games, TV shows, comics, pretty much anything we find interesting and entertaining or not entertaining. Like I said, this is episode 237. I'm Mox Born again. I have with you as always, it's my angel.
Hi.
Hi. Do we need to do these in the morning, like before everybody wakes up?
I would be more awake at 5 a.m. than I would be probably right now.
I don't know if we could like stream it then. I don't know who would watch a stream at 5 a.m.
All the moms with babies.
All the moms with babies. Okay, you seem pretty serious.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody else at about 2 o'clock in the morning on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
Were they up with a baby?
Yeah.
Oh. Maybe we should have like a mommy podcast at 5 a.m. for all the moms that or dads that don't sleep and have to worry about babies and get babies and all that stuff.
Because ours does not sleep anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about, before we get into what we're going to be talking about this episode, let's talk about what we've been up to this past week. Poor James.
Oh, it was today.
Poor James.
Yeah.
So what did you order today?
I wasn't planning on it, but I've been eligible for a phone upgrade for a little while. But my phone's been fine, and so I really didn't feel like I needed to or wanted to because it's a monthly cost.
It sounds really weird on your
on my phone.
Yeah,
I don't notice anything weird.
I feel like it's really strange.
No, I like my phone. But I've noticed the battery dying faster and faster lately. Like 1, 2 o'clock, it's already like.
And that's just like normal use, or is that with Sawyer?
No, that's normal use. Like I take it to work, and when I get out of work at like 11:20, it's like at 20%. And it's got the little battery health indicator on it, so you can go in and see like. What is it? My battery charge. If I charge it to full, what is full really now? So like 100% is now 80%.
Right.
So I decided it was time. And they were running a pretty good promotion. So I've got the iPhone 10. They're on the 12 now, but the 10 is. I bought it obviously over 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago in Thanksgiving, I think, was when I was up for my upgrade. And they've got a deal running right now where I trade it in. I can get like 579 or 539, 579, somewhere in there, like 550 trade-in credit. So it comes off in your monthly payments. So it's not like an automatic, like, hey, here's $580 or whatever. It comes off monthly. So a phone that would normally be, if I got the 12 Max Pro, which I did, was $36 a month. It takes like $19 off. It only makes it like $70 or $17 a month or something like that. So pretty reasonable. But that's, for a phone that's over 2 years old, getting over $500 in trade-in credits, pretty darn good. That's over half of what it retailed new. Mm-hmm. I'm getting over half of it back.
Yeah.
So.
It's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Cool. So yeah,
got my second vax shot today, or
that was
2 days ago.
2 days ago, yeah.
Which so yay!
Kind of you didn't feel too bad about it.
I was really achy. It's weird. Like all of my joints were really sore. Like from my neck down to my even like my toes hurt. Like everything was just achy, but not so much that I even took ibuprofen or Tylenol for it. didn't get. I mean, I was tired and kind of grumpy, but I'm tired and kind of grumpy because I have a baby too. So it's one of those like from being old and tired or from the shot.
Do you feel like you're turning into a zombie?
I feel like that on a daily basis.
Trick question.
Right. It really wasn't much different than that. Noticed a lot more, and I don't notice it today. But like pain through like my ribs and stuff. Which one of my other co-teachers today said she woke up this morning and her back was really sore, which was weird. She said for her.
Her back was sore?
Mm-hmm.
That's odd. It's an odd. I mean, you'd think like arm sore, shoulder, maybe neck.
Well, like I even said, like my neck down to my like it was every joint in my body. But the way that it's working is it's creating an inflammatory response. So it's your joints are getting inflamed, like things are kind of swelling and making that inflammation, and so hence the stiffness and pain in joints all over your body.
Gotcha.
So it is kind of strange, but it was very manageable for me at least. So that's my other up to this week. Easter parties.
Yeah.
Kids' spring break.
Well, with being a teacher, yeah, you're going to have lots of parties.
We went to Easter parties this week. We got Easter this upcoming week for the kids. Had Eli's on spring break this week.
We moved his room around today and yesterday. We decided to start that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like...
It didn't necessarily start with his room.
Right. We were... Like, he's playing drums, or learning to play drums. Mm-hmm. And for the past 3 months
since Christmas was his
it was a Christmas present,
Christmas gift.
Yeah, so for the past 3 months he's had like this full drum kit in our like living room area,
right? So we have like an open concept house, so we really only have like one, like we have like one living space. Like we have the bedrooms and then we have the living space. And so when things are out of order, it feels like things are very out of order because there's no, like, not a room you can go to where things are, like, growing up, like, we had, like, a family room and a living room, and the family room was, like, where you walk in, and no one ever uses it, so it's always clean and just looks nice. Yeah. And then, like, the living room's kind of, like, where we always watch TV, so if it wasn't really that messy in our house, but if it was messy, like...
If there was going to be a mess, it would be in the living room.
Right, and you could close we had like accordion doors. You could pretty much close it off. Someone coming over to our house who happened to stop by would never even see it.
Right.
But at our house, like, they come in and it's like, here's everything.
Here's our stuff.
Right. So if things in this entire house, like the bedroom's gonna be messy, and that would be one thing, but any of, like, the rest of the house, if it's a mess, it's like...
Here it is.
Everything feels like a mess.
So we moved his room around so that actually we just flipped it around, and we basically had to, the only way to get everything in, because he's got the 3 big things is his bed, his computer desk, and now his drum kit. He had a dresser in there which didn't match anything, didn't hold any, like, all of his clothes. It just wasn't working. Right. So we got that out of there, and we're like, oh, we're going to hang everything. So we put everything up on hangers, and then we realized very quickly that the desk and the drum kit aren't really going to work too close together. And
right.
So,
it would have worked. It just wasn't going to look, I don't know. It wasn't ideal.
Well, the other thing is he didn't have a place for, like, some of his Lego set. That was the big thing. Like, some of his larger Lego sets that he's got built that he doesn't want to take down have nowhere to live, and he's already got like a cube thing that, like, his nightstand, I guess you'd say, and that's got some on it and some in the cubes and stuff like that. But like for like he's got the Mario sets, so like the big Bowser castle, like there's just nowhere to put that thing. So we decided to put his desk inside of the closet, and that's got his computer and all that, and that's where he games.
Which means then taking the clothes down that we just hung up.
Right. So we're gonna get him like a little bit more narrower dresser than what he originally had.
But it's a little longer.
But it's longer. So like the surface area is probably about the same, I think. We should probably measure the Bowser's castle just to make sure
depth of it,
that it's deep enough.
Right.
Which you can move. Like the nice thing about those Lego sets though is you can organize it however you want. Like there's
they're meant for laying out your own levels.
right. So that's really cool. I really dig that. I haven't been into Lego in a while because some like the sets just don't interest me. Like the Minecraft kind of scratched a little bit of an itch. It didn't at first, but now it's just like, oh, it's kind of cute, and they're kind of.
And I like Harry Potter just because it's
the Harry Potters are really
collectible.
cool. Yeah, the Harry Potters are really cool, and I think it's like it just. They do a good job with them. Like I feel like the first few sets turned out really good, and like when they like actually support it and come out with more sets, it's like, oh, this is really sweet. So the Mario stuff I think is actually catching on. I'm glad it wasn't like here's a few sets and now we're done. But no, they've come out with the blind bags and the blind bags second season, and then they've got like a couple new Lego sets. They came out with one of Bowser's kids, the Koopa kids, which is awesome and would be fantastic if they go through all 8 of them. Like that would be
So you can make the whole game.
Oh my god, that would be the dream. Like that would cost a crap load of money, but
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I like it. So basically his Lego set will live on top of his dresser again. So that's what we've been doing for the past 2 days. But we finally got his computer up and running, and yeah. So anyway, still a little congested from being sick. It's annoying.
I think it's a new sick though.
You think it's a new sick? Oh, I hate being sick. I just want to be good.
I know. Well, because you had the whole tonsillitis issue, which we discussed previously, but then Everett ended up like he had that fever 3-4 weeks ago now, and then was fine for a few days, and then or maybe a week, and then he's super congested with a cough. So I think this might be his congestion.
Gotcha.
And not your tonsillitis thing. I don't know.
I don't know.
But it comes from the daycare. He goes to the daycare 2 days a week where I teach preschool, and the babies are in there. Obviously, you can't mask babies, and so they're gonna crawl around and they're gonna be drooly and they're just gonna pass germs. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. There's.
You should have them like in baby bubbles.
Like little hamster balls?
Yes, yes, that's exactly what you should do. They'll teach them to crawl. They've got infinite crawling space, and maybe like there's like an inner circle, so like it's a cube, and then they're on a sphere, and then an inner sphere. That way, if they bump into a wall, their inner sphere keeps spinning, so like they can just keep crawling against the wall. No,
Okay.
no germs.
Okay.
And like drop off would be awesome. It'd be like Futurama. You would just take them in their little sphere and just stick them, and take them to their little room in the little hamster wheel ball or hamster tube thing.
Oh goodness gracious!
Yeah, let's patent pending. All right, so this episode is going to be relatively short because we don't got a lot to talk about.
And I'm about to fall asleep.
And Amanda's about to fall asleep. I
fall
literally
asleep.
forced her to do this show. I apologize, but not really. Hey, we're on a roll. Like we've got.
Listen, this is like, isn't like forcing people not to sleep some type of form of like torture?
You do realize if we weren't doing the show, we'd be watching Walking Dead.
No, I probably would. I was almost like it took a lot to get up to brush Sawyer's teeth.
Oh.
Like I was laying in bed and he's like,
"Help me!"
Yes, I'm like, no.
You're like, "Do it yourself."
Pretty much, but that's way more energetic than I sounded.
All right, so this week, this episode, we're going to be talking about Outriders. Yeah, Outriders Week 1 launch, which actually launched today, but they posted a couple days ago, 1 week to launch. Blog post has some interesting stuff in it. George R.R. Martin signs a new deal with HBO.
I wondered why I saw the picture of him on your thing.
I switched it, actually, so... I did have a nice, pretty picture of him, but I was like, nah, let's do Outriders because it's a little bit fresher. And then we've got our top 5 game simulators that should never exist. So top 5 is kind of a really... Oh, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. And then we've also got the after show where we're going to be talking about the episode 20 recap. There will be spoilers of The Walking Dead, so stick around for that after the end. We'll be recapping, what was it called? Diverged.
Diverged.
Yeah. Divergence is a movie and a book. So we'll be talking about that. And yeah. So let's start off with what we've been playing and kind of jump in from there. What have you been playing?
Animal Crossing. We played some Fortnite tonight. You put that up there. Yes, a board game. Sawyer taught me how to play Jurassic Snack.
Jurassic Snack. This is a cute game. Like you can't dog a game. It's super adorable. It's easy to play. A 4-year-old can teach you how to play it. Like,
yeah,
no joke. Like, literally I was sitting over there working while Sawyer broke this out, and he was teaching Amanda how to play. And I wanted to so much just grab the camera and just record it. And he's like, oh, here's our learn to play for Jurassic Snack. And the box is all dented up.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you have 4-year-olds.
Right.
It's seen a lot of love.
It's his game.
He really likes that game, though. It's usually the first one that he goes for.
That or Hiss.
Yes, they did play Hiss today. But anyway, it's a really cool game. You play as these cute little, what are they called? The long necks? I don't remember what they're called.
There's a couple different breeds. You could say Brontosaurus.
Brontosaurus, that's the one I'm thinking.
Brachiosaurus.
I was thinking Brontosaurus.
Okay.
So yeah, so you play as these Brachiosauruses. There's a blue set and a yellow set, and you basically go around eating these like pieces of grass, and the pieces of grass reveal like either different points or different things to do. Like you can move your guy, you can hatch a new guy, or you can spawn the T-Rex, and then you can control the T-Rex around the board. And it's so simple. There's no.
You could get a little more, give a little more thought to strategy if you choose to. I pretty much just move my guy and grab a piece, but there is some strategy involved if you want to put some more thought into it.
But yeah, then you can move. Like, there's no dice, there's no cards. You literally one action move.
Because there's ways you can block the other person from moving as much.
Right.
Stuff,
yeah. Because you can use your guys to block them off, and then really, you could really. It could get competitive real quick, but if you're playing with a 4-year-old, you probably don't want to do that.
Yeah.
What else have you been playing? You said Animal Crossing.
That's about it.
We played some Fortnite tonight.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. We played some Fortnite. The update, last week? They introduced raptors into...
I have no idea.
Yeah, they introduced raptors into the game, so now you can tame raptors and have them fight on your side and all that fun stuff. You're still not big on the crafting thing, huh?
No.
I'm kind of digging it.
I haven't played enough, and not to mention when I have played, I'm about in this mental capacity. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see here. So we'll go ahead and jump right in. So, George R.R. Martin signs a 5-year deal with HBO. So there isn't a lot of information out there outside of that. He's working on it's called The Winds of the Winter, which is the next book.
He's working on that for forever.
Right. So that's the book. So that doesn't.
That's a big joke that he's never going to finish that.
Right. He's going to die before he finishes it. But that's not necessarily what the HBO deal is about. There's already 3 different Game of Thrones spin-offs that HBO already has in the works. So there's, and some of these are working titles. There's 10,000 Ships, which is a working title. It's House Martell, Ancestor, is that Princess Nymeria? I don't know. They said it was like millennium before the events of Game of Thrones. Flea Bottom, which is one of the poorer districts in King's Landing, which that would be kind of neat to see. I mean, I would be interested.
That's where the one king's son was from.
Oh, the bastard. Yes, Flea Bottom. Then 9 Voyages, which is another working title. This is Lord Corollas Volryan, which is also known as the Sea Snake. So I don't know anything about these characters, but I would like to see something a little bit closer to home with what we know as far as Game of Thrones. So like the one that's like set millennia before Game of Thrones, that we like way before.
Right.
Chances are there's probably not King's Landing.
Who knows?
I mean, I would like to see some form of the world that we know, or some somewhere where I can draw a tangible line. Like, hey,
Or if it's like, oh, that feels like coming home again because you're like back in that.
right, or like you're like, oh yeah, this is King's Landing after Daenerys like completely destroyed the place. So King's Landing has to rebuild. What's the story of them rebuilding or whatever?
Right.
Or what's the story of Daenerys after the dragon flies her off? Like we don't.
Does she have a story? Right. Is she dead?
Right. Is she dead or?
So yeah, he's been working on Winds of Winter for 6 years.
Yeah.
He started the whole series in 1991. He's been working on the Game of Thrones series for 20 years.
I mean,
30 years.
But I mean, you gotta
Sorry.
think about like, it's not like your normal type of book where like there's a start and end. Like when you start one of these things and you introduce like however many characters and civilizations that he has, like.
They're very in depth.
I mean, like you've got to branch off.
The whole world.
Exactly. Like all these people have different thoughts. They have different religions. They have different lifestyles. They have different gods.
All the lineage.
Some people like to sleep with their brothers. Some of them are even dead. But what would you like to see from this? I mean, it's only 5-year deal, so he's got to come up with something in these 5 years. I mean,
I don't know what exactly. I don't know exactly what he.
But what would you like to see? What would you like to see
from the 3 shows that are being put out?
Either those 3 or the what he's cooking up or what the deal is.
I have no idea. I mean, I'd like to see what you had already mentioned, but I don't think that's not something that they're talking about doing. So I don't. That hasn't really even been like in my mind as far as something I'd be able to see.
Do you think it's Game of Thrones related? Because it doesn't even have to be that. Like this is just really to push HBO Max. Like that's. It doesn't even.
He's putting out those 3
right
spin-offs.
Right, those 3 are putting. Yeah, but the way that this like 5-year deal with HBO, the way the announcement read, it was like this is something more than that. There's more shows.
I'd have to read it and try. I guess I'd have to see what exactly. You do have a link there, don't you?
Let's see here. You have to right click on it.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, so you want to move on?
Sure.
Okay. So Outriders blog post devs the Outriders devs put out a new blog post recently. They were going over some of the changes and some of the things.
Yeah, sorry, you're right. It does. This article does just say that they don't know how many things are going to be connected to the Game of Thrones world, but he's going to have some type of a creative role to create more original content.
Right, so to me that seems like original content would be outside of the Game of Thrones universe.
Well, but it still is original. I mean, any of those stories are still original to HBO. It's an HBO original. It's not coming out on any other platform.
That's true.
And they're not books that he's written. I mean, yes, they're kind of adapted from that world, but yeah, it looks like he's also working on some things with Peacock, which is NBC's.
Yeah.
Peacock's NBC's. Wild Cards, which is based on a series of novels written by Martin and some other people. Looks like he's also in a show called The Lost Lands, which is a collection of fantasy adventure short series, which is being developed as a feature film. So yeah. The what else they're talking about there? I don't think that's gonna have anything to do with Game of Thrones, like you said. I think it's just they're gonna come out with some other shows, and he may be a writer. They may just refer back to him and say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And hey, George R.R. Martin putting his name on it just to be like, oh, I want to see that.
Right.
So,
executive produced by, from the mind of, right?
In collaboration with.
We paid a lot of money for this.
Just to use his name.
Please watch it.
That's what it sounds like
That's
to me,
what it
honestly.
Sad face.
Yeah.
Okay, so Outriders. So the devs put out a blog post about kind of like their week 1 patches and kind of what to expect after today's launch, rather. And so a lot of things in there were weapon balancing, which they admit is going to be a long-term affair because, I mean, with any live video game like this where people are putting points into skill trees and leveling up, and it's not like, I mean, even with like a game like Halo where there is no level system, like you're not leveling your character up and gaining new abilities and stuff like that, they still tweak the game a little bit. But I mean, you've got to think about like, okay, you know, the normal person can jump this much. I'm just using this as an analogy, as an example, because I know they can't jump. But this person can jump this much, and with this perk, they can jump this much. And now that you're jumping this much, what does that do to like the shotguns or how, you know, different weapon balancing, stuff like that? So that's always going to be going on. So that was in there. Crossplay is now enabled, which is fantastic. So that means I can play on the PC while you play on the Xbox, and vice versa. And I think they even said like the saves are going to be cross compatible. So like my Xbox saves I can play on my PC and PC back to X, vice versa. So, which is nice. They made improvements to the cover system, which is good because I really didn't think that was probably one of the weaker points of the game, was the ability to, you know, kind of like Gears of War, like hug up against the covers and, you know, the different walls and things like that. They also added additional info for like cooldown times and things like that. So like when you use an ability, like during the demo, it was literally just like you had the little icon and it turned gray, and then like a little clock thing like kind of would show up over the icon showing that it was still like cooling down. So apparently they've added some more information to give you ideas on when that's probably a timer or some sort. I don't know. It'd be nice if like your controller vibrated or something when it was ready, or made some type of like charm or something, or chime or something. They talked about the day 1 patch and stuff like that, and then the thing that's kind of got me interested and kind of perked my ears, I wish more games would do this, they talked about cheaters and the fact that they're going to be permanently marking cheaters. So one of the things that they're going to do, and it's not necessarily going to be like the type of like, kind of like not like something to your exterior, but your interior. So like your HUD, like when you're playing, is going to be slightly different, and it will basically show people, like if you do like a screen share or like a screen stream or anything like that, it's going to show people like, hey, this person has been dealing in some not so nice affairs. And I think that's really cool. I was worried that when I started reading this, that they were going to mark cheaters with like some like a special like helmet or something. Is he up?
Yeah.
That's fine. Go ahead and get him. I'll take care of him here.
Sorry.
It's all right.
My sound is off. I saw him squiggling around.
Gotcha. So I was worried that if they were going to change like a helmet or give you some type of mark or something like that, where it would be like something that was sought after, and then people would be getting an exclusive thing for cheating or whatever. So anyway, this it kind of goes into a little bit more detail about the repercussions for being identified as using cheats. So it says it will be account wide, so it's not just one character. It'll be all your characters. You'll not be able to be matchmade with legit players, so you'll be able to still use matchmaking and only be matchmade with other cheaters, which is interesting. That would make for a horrible experience, I would think. So then they said, obviously, matchmaking might take significantly longer. You still be able to play solo, stuff like that in the future. Like I said, your HUD will be will have a discrete but visible watermark placed on it so that gameplay footage created on this account can be identified as coming from a flagged account. All accounts will have that same flag. Let's see here. It also says if you cheated during the demo for a, quote, just to try it out, but wish to continue the main game unbranded, you must delete all your characters and all your items from your entire account in order to wipe the slate clean. You should not carry over any of the progress between demo and the main game and as previously cheated, but do not plan on doing so in the main game. So it's interesting that they're kind of giving people a way out in the sense that, it's, if you did this, just go ahead and delete all your stuff and start over and you're fine. It's interesting that they're doing that. I worry still that that's not going to kind of crack down on the cheating enough. It's unfortunate that, let's see what it says here. It says at the time of reaching about 2 million players, we've identified 200 players who have clearly cheated. In percentage terms, that's 0.01%. So it's not a lot of people, but it's enough for to ruin some games. And if it becomes easy enough to do, you'll start to see that more on a regular basis. He's like, it says in here, we can see it all. Yes, even the person who gave themselves 600 legendary weapons. But yeah, so it doesn't look like they plan on it growing very much. But yeah, it's just an interesting take. I haven't seen anything like this from any other game company before, so we'll see how it pans out. So rather than just banning people and stuff like that. Let's see, and then it goes into what's considered cheating and stuff like that. And then they've also talked about, I like this phrase here, it says, we reserve the right to update and change this policy in the future. AKA, if this doesn't work, we're just going to pull out the ban hammer and we're just going to ban your account. Or ban your Xbox, maybe? That would be nice. So yeah, so that is Outriders, the update. Let's see here. Let's see. So, just trying to wait for Amanda to get back here before we move on too far here, guys. Good old baby waking on up. Oops. In the back. There it goes. And the funny thing is, like, trying to search like news sites today, since it's April 1st, is pretty stupidly hard because there are so many April Fool's jokes. Ugh. Oh, I'll tell you what. There's something else that we can talk about real quick while Amanda's out. So I did my first Kickstarter. I backed my first Kickstarter ever. I've never really been a fan of this website, and if you're not familiar with Kickstarter, essentially it's kind of like if you have an idea for something to sell, you can put kind of like a promotional piece or like a prototype together and put it up on this website, and you can get people to back you at like different levels, and this is all stuff that you create. And so essentially what you're doing is creating different levels for them to actually put money towards backing your project. And let's see here. So like a lot of the board game industry uses Kickstarter, and there's a few other websites like Kickstarter that use a similar method, or kind of like a similar kind of price pay structure. And so I backed two projects. The first one that I backed was, and it completed a couple weeks ago, was Tiny Epic Dungeons. And if you're familiar with the Tiny Epic series, it's a whole series of board games where they're just these. I mean, they're in boxes about this size, all right, and they're usually small, compact, like bite-sized games that usually take somewhere between 20 and 25, 30 minutes or whatever, and they're just. It's just kind of like their thing, the Tiny Epic something, like Tiny Epic Pirates, Tiny Epic. I can't even think of all of them, but there's a whole bunch of them, and they've never done a Tiny Epic Dungeons game before. And this is basically kind of like a dungeon crawler game where you have like, they have miniatures in them. This is the first of the series to have little miniatures, which is great. Really kind of scratches that itch. I love my miniatures. And it's like a random dungeon where you have like these tile cards that you lay down randomly upside down. They've got random boss monsters, and you gain loot, and you collect sets of loot, kind of like a traditional dungeon crawler, like a Diablo or a Baldur's Gate and things like that. And it's a cooperative experience. It just looks like a ton of fun. So it definitely, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Once a project has completed, right? They set a date on it, and then obviously there's like a price that they're looking to hit. Once they hit that date, if they've exceeded their amount, or met or exceeded their amount, then their game's going to be published. And obviously, if they don't meet it, then you don't get charged for it, obviously, because they didn't meet their goal. But once it meets their goal, then they start production on it, apparently. So when their Kickstarter ends, you don't get the product. The product starts production then, apparently. And then, so like Tiny Epic Dungeons, I believe, is due out by December. I don't know if it actually says on here. Campaign, let's see here. Estimated delivery is December of this year. So that's not too bad. And they've, definitely check it out. There's, it looks like they're still accepting late pledges. And some games will do that. But the other one that I thought this one's really cool, is called So You've Been Eaten. And it's a 2-player game, or it could be a 1-player game, a 2-player game, or a 0-player game. And I've never seen this with like a 0-player game. But anyway, it's basically, if you're one party plays as this monster, and this other party plays as a person, an adventurer that's been eaten, and you're trying to search out these different. You're trying to collect certain things as the person's been eaten. As the monster, you're trying to send different viruses and different things towards this, to the person, to try and kill them. But it just seems really cool. The different poison counters and the all the different aspects and tokens in this game just really kind of spoke to me. We don't have many 2-player games, most of which are like 2 to 7, 2 to 6, 2 to 5, but there are no true 2-player games. I think Jurassic Snack is probably one of the very few that we have, is that it's a 2-player game. So this is just a nice, fun game. A little bit more complex than Jurassic Snack, but that is So You've Been Eaten. Looks like a lot of fun. Should definitely check it out. Actually, let's do this. While we're here, let's see if there's any new board games going up on Kickstarter. Board and games? What? I'm still kind of new to this website. Board games. Let's see if there was any that popped out. The other thing that's cool too is on this website, you're not just going to get like board games. It's not just for board games, but there's also like some like board game things, like coin, like just generic coins and stuff like that. Let's see here. 7 Moons, Heroes of Dragon Reach, a fantasy adventure board game for 2 to 4 players. 7 Moons. Well, it looks kind of fancy. Looks like they got a whole bunch of different tokens. Really don't want to. I guess I could play the video. Seven Moons is an original board game from the Gunpowder Studios, set in the mythical, magical world of dragons and monsters, where 2 to 4 players seek to save the beautiful kingdom of Dragon Reach from the impending Shadow Army. Okay. Looks like a pretty cool game. The components look pretty sweet. The other cool thing about Kickstarter too is it'll give you like some stretch goals and things like that, and different versions that you can buy. So like if you just want to donate a couple dollars to the cause because you think the game looks cool, you can do that. If you wanted to like pre-order the game, like give them what the pre-order would cost, you could do that. If you wanted like a collector's edition, they've got usually campaigns will have campaigns will have different versions and different like kind of things that you can purchase and stuff like that. Looks pretty sweet. Earn precious gold and allies, but you do have the time to aid others as war approaches. Huh. 7 Moons. I'll have to keep an eye out. And you can like you can click watch on these, so you can kind of keep an eye on it. So I'm gonna hit remind, so it keeps it saved for me. Let's see if you go to back this project. So their goal is 20,000. They're at what did that say? 3,000 now. Yeah, they're at $3,500, and their goal is 20,000. So they've got 60 backers. 29 days to go, so they still have quite a ways to go, but they still have several days, like almost a month to go. Let's see here. This is a Euro game, so you can donate $5. You can always change this game pledge order. So you can donate any amount. You can donate $5. Then you can donate $49. You get 1 copy of 7 Moons, the board game, Dragon Drop. Okay, and then for $65, you get the deluxe version. So the deluxe version comes with. So this is kind of like the upgraded version, like I was telling you guys about. So it comes with 1 deluxe copy of the 7 Moons Heroes of Dragon Reach board game with special designed wooden figures and Dragon Reach gold metal coins. Huh. So basically if you want, rather than the cardboard cardstock, you get the metal ones. That's kind of neat. So it's interesting too, like you can see how many, there's 39 backers that took the deluxe version versus 6 that just took the regular version. That's interesting. Let's see if there's any other good ones on here. I wish there was a way I could bring this up for you guys to see. One Step Up, the food adventure game. What? Let's see what this is. 77% funded. 77% funded. Yeah, it's got. Looks like a small 2 to 4 player game. They're only looking for $7,000. They've got just about 6. 12 days to go. Let's see what this game is about. After working with hundreds of families as special educator and behavioral analyst, I saw a pattern. Mealtimes were stressful. Combining my training in the science and behavioral change and my experience as a teacher, I embedded the principles of motivation and reinforcement and shaped into a fun and hands-free interactive game for kids of all ages. Now kids can experience new foods in a relaxing and adventurous game environment with their families and friends and family, and take the pressure and stress out of meal times. So this helps people eat different foods. This game is for kids and adults, ages of all ages. 2 to 4 player takes turns answering a question card, selecting the corresponding food item, and deciding how they want to experience the food. Move 1 step up for touching the food, 2 steps up for kissing the food, 3 steps up for licking the food, 4 steps up for biting the food, and 5 steps up for eating the food. That's interesting. But watch out, there are more additional spaces, cards, and choose any food cards throughout the deck. So, name 3 things that have windows. What shape is this? Name a green food. Move ahead 2 extra spaces. What sound does a pig make? As a first-time board game creator, I am learning to as I go in the process. I will be open and honest and transparent as much as humanly possible with any shipping delays or other hiccups along the way. The campaign funds will be used to print the first batch of games. I have selected a manufacturer and will work with them to print 500 copies of the game. That's interesting. Holy shnikes! Whoa! So this game, so you can back this game for because you believe in it, and then they've got a $5 pledge that you can, and they'll send you a personalized thank you note. $20 pledge gets you the food tracker sheet. Keep track of each food your child is eating. A visual for their progress motivates kids to try more and more foods. So you don't even get the game for the $20. For $60, get the entire copy of the first education of One Step Up, the food adventure game, hot off the presses. Shipping costs are included in the pledge amount. Oh. Holy cow. So looks like there's only 26 spaces left. So he's got 500 total and 474. Oh, wait. Limited 474 left of 500. Oh, so there's only 26 people there's only 26 backers. That's rough. Yeah, I do like the idea behind this. This is interesting. But, yeah, I don't know about that. That's really expensive for that type of game. Don't know if Amanda's coming back or not, guys. I don't know. Man. Anyway. Yeah, Everett has not been sleeping well. Not been sleeping well the past couple of days. Past couple of weeks. Let's see here. Does anything else really stand out? Oh, there's some dice towers. Quad City Killers. Murderous fun for the whole family. 2.0. It's already been funded. It's got 14 days to go. They needed $9,000, just about $10,000, and they literally just hit it. Let's see here. Quad City Killers. Players take turns traveling between cities, hunting and attacking their prey with a combination of card play and dice rolls. As activity increases in each city, so does the heat from the law enforcement, challenging your ability to acquire your prey. Fortunately for you, the more you kill, the more skills increase, allowing you to stay one step ahead of the law and your friends around the table. So these guys, they've got something a little bit different. So they have stretch goals. So if they hit certain numbers past their goal, so like they'll have their main goal. This one they've got like a 12K goal, so an extra two grand. It says you'll get skull pawns, so upgraded player tokens will be included in all Quad City Killer games. So like you don't have to necessarily donate any more money, but if the actual campaign raises 12,000 rather than getting the normal pawns, everybody that backed, as a collective will get these upgraded pawns. At 4K, you'll get heat and dexterity tokens. At 18K, evidence bags for cards. Oh, so they'll have like custom made bags. That's kind of neat. And then there's one at 20K that is question marked. So, this looks pretty cool. Everything what does that say? Budding serial killer needs? I don't know what that means. What's in the box? Bonus pledge. Prestige. Interesting. So this is feeling a bit more dominance. Add a personal killer board to your game. Every Quad City Killers game at the prestige level will include an extra killer board with your likeness. Oh wow, that's cool. So you can actually be printed into the game. Bonus: five backers will be chosen at random to have their card included in every. Oh, that's cool. So how much is the prestige one? Trophy hunter. Oh, okay. That's actually not that bad. So the prestige one is $65. Be the killer you always wanted to be with the reward. Okay, so yeah, that's really sweet. So you'll get your card in there if you back for $65. Whereas let's see here, you get a copy of Quad City Killers. Okay, so Trophy Hunter. So the game itself is $35. So you can spend $35, get the whole game, or spend $65 and get an extra card with your likeness printed on it. I mean, spending extra $30 on that, seems pretty, innocent. I don't understand what would stop someone from scanning in one that's in there and just photoshopping the stuff together. I don't know, but it looks good. I mean, the game looks. I mean, their graphic design and their cohesive, Kickstarter campaign here looks. Their imagery carries through and through. So I would probably back this. And as far as the prestige go, they still have 57 left. So they have 100 of them total. Or you can just spend in $35 and actually get the board game itself. It's not too bad. Let's watch this. We're gonna watch this one. And that still has 14 days to go, so nice. All right, guys. So I think we're just gonna push on. I think Amanda. I don't know if Amanda's gonna be back or not. So. Yeah, so let's see here. Okay. So last So this past week, it was announced that there's going to be a Lawn Mower Simulator game coming to the Xbox Series X and S this year. And I saw it and I was like, and I'm not really a huge fan of simulator games in any way. But like when the only thing I can possibly think of is if you're playing a lawnmower simulator game, shouldn't you just be out cutting the grass? Like it seems like one of those games where doing it in a video game, shouldn't you just be doing it in real life? I have this same like self argument with games like Animal Crossing, and maybe it's good that Amanda's not here when this is going down. Because like pulling the weeds and, landscaping and all that stuff is like, man, I could spend 2 hours doing this in a virtual world, or I could actually go out and actually do this, in my actual yard because there's stuff that needs to be done. Like planting grass and pulling weeds and, getting flowers ready and putting up a fence and all the same things you do in Animal Crossing. But I saw this and I was just like, wow, that is amazing. Like, I'm curious how many people are actually going to buy this, or if it's just going to be kind of one of those meme games where people like just totally meme on it and it becomes its own thing. Lawn Mower Simulator. So I was like, hey, this is a great opportunity for us to bring back one of my favorite segments, or one of our favorite sections that we used to do a long time ago. We would always do like these top fives. We would just make, some news article would come out. We'd be like, hey, let's do a top 5 about this. What's our top 5, top 5 worst games ever, or top 5 worst purchases ever, or whatever the case may be. And so this iteration of top 5 is top 5 game simulators that should never exist. And Amanda's number 5, she's only got one on here because she was writing them out while we were on here. Her number 5 was calling customer service the simulator. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. That would be something that I would absolutely despise in so many levels. Just dealing with customer service in general, but then again, calling into customer service and you're not even actually calling in for anything. Let's see. Did she text us? No, she didn't text us. Calling into customer service when you're not actually calling in to customer service is a whole nother thing. My number 5 was crypto mining the simulator. I know there's money to be had and it's a risk versus reward type of thing, but nothing is more boring to me than talking about and watching and the whole crypto thing. Like, part of it is because I don't understand the ins and outs of it, but most of it's just like, so I leave my computer on and my graphics card and computer are mining for non-physical. Okay, no. So, my number 4 was fence building the simulator, because that's one of the things that I'm in the middle of right now is building a fence. Just putting a fence together just doesn't seem like something that I want to simulate. I just want to get it done. And my number 3, cleaning up after the dog makes a mess out in the yard. Nope, don't like doing it. Don't want to simulate doing it. Number 2, dirty dishes, the simulator. I definitely don't want to be spending my time. Don't want to be spending my time doing the dishes. I don't want to be spending my time doing virtual dishes, the ones that I don't eat off of. And then my number one games simulators that should not exist. Folding laundry, the simulator. Folding laundry is by far my biggest pet peeve when it comes to chores. It's even gotten so bad that I've considered purchasing like Amazon Prime and like their Prime wardrobe or whatever. Even not even that. Like I've gone down a couple different avenues on how this would work, and just having clothes delivered to the house, and then having someone come pick up my old clothes and just donating them. Right? So you would, every week you just have a new pair of clothes delivered. For that week, you'd have your clothes delivered. You wouldn't have a whole bunch of clothes. It'd save on storage as far as, you wouldn't have to have a massive dresser or this huge closet. You just have to have a few hangers, hang up the pants, hang up the shorts, hang up the shirts, all that stuff. Obviously, the things like socks and underwear, you could probably throw those away. I think that's kind of how I figured it out. Like I would wear them once and then pitch them and then throw them away, like socks and underwear. But then like as far as like jeans and t-shirts and collared shirts, and if I was going to be shooting a wedding that weekend or that week, I would need some type of polo. I would need some dress slacks. I would probably end up keeping the shoes and stuff like that. That would all stay because those wouldn't go as bad. And plus that doesn't deal with laundry. But anyway, I've thought long and hard about this, and the amount of savings that you would have on like things like laundry detergent and electricity for running the washer and dryer and water and stuff like that. That I feel like the net gain of not having to A, do laundry, and B, fold said laundry would be enough to push me over the limit to actually spend the money every month to purchase new clothes and just donate the other ones. Because it would just be worn once, and obviously if it's something that they get damaged or whatever, then I just throw them out. There's no sense in actually passing on damaged clothes, but worn once is typically a pretty good donation, right? Like most people donate clothes that they've worn for months or years or whatever. So I feel like I don't know, man. I don't know. Like in the way our house is set up right now, like I thought about it long and hard again recently, because the way our house is set up now, our new house, is our laundry. We've got like a laundry closet inside of our kitchen, but we don't have a pantry, like a traditional pantry. We've got a whole bunch of cupboards and stuff like that. But like a traditional pantry where you've got shelving and you can walk in, like we could literally turn that laundry closet into a walk-in pantry, because it's got the bifold doors or the accordion doors that you can open up, and like literally you could walk in and like it's a decent sized space. You wouldn't need all that if you didn't have laundry to do. So yeah, so my number one for game simulators that should never exist is folding laundry. So that's the show, guys. Some of the things one of the things I want to start doing on the podcast is mentioning what uploads we had on the channel this week. So we did our first Learn to Play video. That went up on Monday, and I think I'm going to try to post the Learn to Plays on Mondays, and then we've got either unboxings or reviews. Those will go up on Tuesdays. So this week we had two videos uploaded. We had a Learn to Play for Anchors Away. Anchors Away, I should have the game pulled out. There we go. So Anchors Away is this really cool, it's kind of fun, I don't want to call it a children's game, but it is a lighter game. There's not a lot of strategy involved in it. There can be. I mean, just like with Jurassic Snack, there can be strategy involved. But it's a lot of fun to play. It plays up to 4 players. It's not quite as to the age restriction or the age level as the Jurassic Snack. So this is going to be a little bit higher. I think it's 8+. Yeah, 8+. Whereas Jurassic Snack it's at 7+, which that's kind of an overreach. I believe, like, my 4-year-old really enjoys playing this game. But anyway, I did a learn to play for Anchors Away, so definitely go check that out. And let me know kind of what you think, because it was my first time doing a learn to play, where we just sit down and I teach you how to play this game. We've always done with the reviews on board games, we've always done kind of like an overview on how to play, and that's one of the kind of things that I kind of felt bad about, is the review would end up being like 40 minutes long, because the first half of it was me teaching you how to play this game, and I wouldn't necessarily teach you the whole thing. Like, I would teach you just enough to be dangerous and not enough to actually get you through a whole play session. So I decided, I was like, okay, we need to change this up a little bit. I'm still going to do a little bit of a game, overview or game, tutorial on kind of how to play in the actual reviews, but it's not going to be nearly as in depth. I maybe spent 5 minutes at most on it, and that's really, we kind of baked it into like the components, like the review. Like when I talk about review, I'll be like, okay, well, when you're playing this game, these components, this is what you're going to be doing with this component, and this is what you're going to be doing with this component. And while we do the review, we also talk about gameplay and like the aesthetics and stuff like that of it. So you do have to know something about how the game plays to actually understand the review portion of it, at least that section. So I didn't completely remove the learn to play aspect of our reviews out of there. I've just kind of shrunk it down enough to get that portion of the review kind of out and in the open without taking 20, 30, 40 minutes long. So this was the first like full-fledged single, like this video is about learning to play this game. So really gonna get your feedback. Let me know how it went, how it looks. We've already got kind of a few pieces of feedback and things that we're changing about it. Some different camera angles, a little bit closer zoomed up shots and things like that on some of the smaller pieces. Just so let me know what you guys think. Definitely check it out. The other thing that we unboxed, and I can't reach it because it's under a bunch of games, is we unboxed Alice is Missing. And this is a game that I really want to play, but I want to play it right, because it's one of those games where you can only play it so many times before you've kind of, I don't want to say ruined it, but it's like a social deduction game, and once you've played it through a couple times, like the mystery, if you will, is kind of already solved, and you can't really go back and play it. So it has a very finite amount of play in it. So there's not a lot of pieces to the game either. It's just a bunch of cards. So we do that unboxing. So definitely check it out. I want to record the gameplay footage when we do play that game. So if you're interested in it, definitely get subscribed so that you can get notified when we plan that video out. And I don't think we'll stream it, because there's a couple things that I want to add to it in post after we play it. So like just to give you an idea, the game takes place, you basically communicate with the players through your phone. So you're text messaging everybody that's in this fictional world, and you're communicating through text messaging. So basically what I want to do is record the gameplay, and then also use like screenshots or record the phone screens of people texting, so I can kind of overlay that on the screen. I got this in my mind of how I want this to play out, so hopefully it works out. But definitely check out the unboxing. It's very, very short, but there's a lot of cool pieces of artwork and stuff in there. So those are the 2 videos that we uploaded to this week. Let's see here. Amanda's like, sorry, I'm having the hardest time getting him back to sleep. So I don't think she's going to be coming back. That's okay. That's okay, hon. That's no worries. No worries. We will push on. We will push on. So So yeah, guys, that's episode 237. I really do appreciate you watching. I appreciate Amanda sticking out as long as she could. Thanks, Everett, for interrupting us. You little punk. No, but seriously, I really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you get subscribed, like I said. Hit the little bell notification on YouTube so that you get notified when our videos go live. Make sure you get subscribed to our YouTube channel if you're over on Facebook and you've got a Google account. Make sure you head over to youtube.com/72DPI online. Get subscribed. It helps the channel out. It tremendously does. Leave a comment down below of the things that we've kind of talked about today. If you have any suggestions or anything that you've played, if you played these games before. The other thing is, in the description, there's going to be a couple affiliate links for the things that we did talk about. If you're interested in purchasing those items, if you use our links, Amazon will give us a kickback. It won't charge you anything extra. It's just a way for Amazon to say, hey, we sent you. And it's a way to help the channel out for free. You don't have to pay any extra for your purchases. And we really do appreciate it. So looks like next week's videos, and we'll talk a little. Next week's videos, we're doing a learn to play on how to play King of Tokyo. That's a really fun dice rolling game. Kids love playing that one. That's a good 2 to 6 player game. And then we're also going to be reviewing Dice Forge. So get subscribed and make sure you hit the notification bell. Those videos will go up on YouTube on Monday and Tuesday. So definitely, like I said, get subscribed on that. We really do appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you stick around for the after show. We're going to be talking all about the Walking Dead episode 20 from season 10, Diverged. So, yeah, spoiler warning. We will be talking about spoilers. So, thanks again for watching, and we will see you guys next week. Same time, same place. So I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of time to, if you're not interested in the spoiler talk of the new Walking Dead episode, to kind of head on out. And if you want to be part of the conversation, stick around. We'll be starting here shortly. Feel free to leave your comments and stuff like that about the actual episode. Sorry. Okay. So I saw these. I wanted to talk about these with Amanda. Darn it. So I saw these at the gas station today. It caught my eye. Like, this caught my eye right here. I don't know if you can see that. But then I was like, what in the world? And it says, Oreo, the most stuff. And I'm like, no way. Like, I gotta open these up and see what this is all about. Like, holy shit. Oh my god. Look at, wait a minute. This one's only got one cookie. What? Okay, well, this first impression is not good because this one's missing a cookie. Holy cow. Look at the size of look at that sucker. So, I'm not going to eat that, but that's, holy cow, that's huge. That is a ton of stuff. Yeah, definitely missing a cookie. There. Oh no, it's back here. Hold on. It just fell off. We didn't get gypped. We've got the top of all 4 cookies. So anyway, like, Oreos kind of hold a special place in my heart. I was always, I was around when there were no double stuff Oreos, and definitely not the most stuff Oreos. I can remember as a kid, getting the regular Oreos, twisting off 2 of the top cookies, right, and then smashing the other 2 together so that you'd have like a double stuffed type of thing. And it just holds a special place in my childhood. And I saw these, I was like, I've got to try them out. Like, it's just hilarious how much like it looks like there's 3. Yeah, it looks like there's 3 patties of filling in there. It's like triple stuff. They didn't. They kind of. Man, I mean, I like the average or the most stuff tagline, but when you put the most, that's kind of a definitive statement, as in we're not going to do any more. I mean, could you do the more most stuff? I mean, double most stuff? God, that would be a lot of white filling. Holy smokes. Alright. I feel like we've left enough time for those of you that want to avoid spoilers. So, this episode of The Walking Dead, this one is a little weird for me. So this was episode 20, Diverged. It aired last week on March 29th. The actual description is: the lowest point of their friendship, Daryl and Carol come to a fork in the road, head their separate ways. Carol returns to Alexandria while Daryl stays on the road, each going into their own type of survival mode. So this was a three-person episode. Carol, Daryl, and then Jerry. At the very beginning of the episode, you can tell that there hasn't been much time that's passed since the last episode that we spent with these 2 characters, where Daryl and Carol kind of got into this little tiff about what Carol has been up to and how she's been, trying to do the thing that needs to be done. And that seems to always be a common thing with her, no matter what it is, whether it's, in the first, this was it second season in the prison where people were getting sick with like the flu virus or whatever. She literally murdered 2 people that were deathly ill to try to save the prison. And this was before they turned. Like, this was while they were still human, sleeping in their beds. Like, she put a knife into their heads. Like, to do what has been done, that can go even as far into, the look at the flowers with, I can't remember the little girl's name. Oh, it's killing me. What's the little girl's name? Gosh darn it. Look at the flowers. Lizzie. Lizzie's the name. See, Google knows what I want. I just type in look at the flowers and Lizzie's name pops right up. So, like, killing Lizzie because she killed her sister and she's, clearly, distraught, naming the zombies or the walkers and feeding them and, playing with them and stuff like that. So, like, Carol's always been that person that's kind of like the survivalist and it might come from, like, her, her origin story with her, her deadbeat husband and who's very, very, very abusive. So maybe she just, does what needs to be done behind the scenes, no matter how grim or how, taboo it is. Like, it seems like she's one of those people. And like letting Negan out and trying to take care of Alpha seems to have shaken the cage a little bit because her and Daryl they're just not clicking, essentially. And, so this episode picks right back up where they left off. They're kind of heading back, down the path towards Alexandria, or I guess back home. And Carol's going down one way, and Daryl just like, what, I'm gonna stay out, look for more food. And he goes down the other. And then it's very interesting the imagery that they give with the actual fork in the road. And dog leads up, runs up to the fork, turns around and sits down. And is like, okay, which way are we going, guys? And then quickly realizes that they're not going the same path. And then he decides to go with Carol. And I wish Amanda was here because she mentioned something why Dog went with Carol. So we'll see if she actually catches up and is able to get in here. But anyway, so Daryl, before the fork, Daryl, or not Daryl, Carol was having a hard time opening up her canister, so Daryl handed him a pocket knife, like a utility tool, like a multi-tool, to get it open, which she did. She kept it, and this proved to be an issue later on down the road. So after they split, Carol got back to Alexandria, and she meets up with Jerry, and there's really kind of like, it's just this weird, awkward silence between the two of them, and Carol's like, I really want something to do. What can I do to help? Let me do this, this, or this. And like Jerry's like, oh, well, there's already people doing those things. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And she's like, Jerry, I really need something to do. I need to help somebody. So she decides she's going to make a soup. And this basically leads her down her like struggle path, to where she's trying to, their food have been like pretty much decimated by the walkers and by the whisperers at this point. So there's really not much food in the pantry, essentially. So, she makes this kind of joke about stone soup, and, that kind of hit home for me because I had that book and was told that story several times as a child. So it's just interesting, kind of a little tidbit in there, kind of hit home pretty quick. And so, at any rate, we fast forward. She struggles with finding to make the soup, and then there's a rat involved, and she's trying to get rid of the rat, and she ends up destroying the wall in the pantry, and really kind of breaking down kind of how she does. Like, she usually kind of goes off on her own when something like this happens, where she does one of these actions that kind of the thing that has to be done. She kind of goes off on her own and just wants to be alone, and wants to fix things, and she just has a hard time bouncing back, and it's just something that takes time for her. And all the while you've got Daryl, who's looking for rations. His motorcycle breaks down, and he's clearly got he knows what needs to be done to fix it, but he doesn't have the tool to fix it. So the tool that he usually would use to fix his bike is what he gave to Carol, and she took that to Alexandria. So we see Daryl kind of struggling with this, with his bike, and now he's like, okay, well, I got to find the parts to fix it, and then I got to find the tools to fix it. So, it looks like some type of hose or something that he needs, like brake lines or whatever. I'm not really sure what it is. So he goes through and he finds a couple houses that have cars parked. He starts pulling, wires and cables out and hoses, and takes those down. And now he's still looking for this tool to fix, and he comes across a couple soldier zombies, or walkers that are in like soldier fatigues and stuff like that. And, usually they'll have some type of knife or some type of tool on them. And so he, kind of baits one out to get, out of this group or whatever. He kind of baits one out, kills it, and kind of loots the body. Finds a tool, finds some rations, a backpack, some equipment, and stuff like that, and kind of goes into his own survival mode, fixing the bike, and then eventually finding another one of these soldiers. So there's definitely something going on nearby that's has some type of army. They're in like it almost looked like army fatigues. So they had like the green camo and stuff like that. So I don't think it's a coincidence that there were two of those guys in this location. I think there's probably something going on nearby that can answer for that type of coincidence. So yeah, so then the actual episode ends with Carol and Daryl kind of meeting up head to head, and there's just this kind of silence. We're like, hey, are you okay? You good? You want to come in for some soup? He denies her soup, which I think was dumb. He should have went in for soup. But I think they're going to be okay. Daryl's one of those. Daryl's I think he's a very loyal friend, even if even if you do wrong by him, even if you do wrong by him, he's still going to consider you a friend, and he's going to fight for that friendship. So even though like with this particular scene where it's very, you can tell tensions are high, but you can start to see that they're coming down a little bit. So like I feel like we're going to be back to square one, in a few days, a few episodes on our side, a few days timeline wise on their side. So overall, this episode to me wasn't super entertaining. There wasn't a lot of backstory being heard. It was more or less just kind of showing that these two characters, while they work well independently, they really work well together, and it's nice to see them coming back together, kind of mending those bonds and making sure, that, hey, we're in this together, we need to fight to survive and stuff like that, but we also need to know that we can take our space if we need to. So like I said, overall, this wasn't my favorite episode so far, but yeah, I think the next one's gonna be the one. So I'm interested to hear from you guys. We talked about doing kind of a live view of the Here's Negan episode and actually play it live for you guys, and then actually commentate over top of it and watch it together. Let me know in the comments below if that's something that you guys would be interested in. I've kind of toyed around with the idea. I'm not sure. We'll see. I'm not really sure. I want to hear from you guys if that's something you'd be interested in. So leave a comment down below if that's something you'd think would be really cool, really fun to interact with, and something that we could have fun seeing and doing. And if not, let us know as well if you don't. So anyway, so that's the end of the after show, guys. Thanks again so much for watching. We'll see you guys back here next week, and yeah, thanks.